Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis update for Ergo. I'll be covering some very key support resistance levels, some promising things I'm seeing on the Ergo Bitcoin ratio, and in general my market outlook going into say the next few months. So if you guys enjoy the content, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also check out our sponsors and partners over at ftx.us. It is a great exchange. You can buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency over at ftx.us, and if you sign up with my link in the description below, you can get a 5% discount on exchange fees. So it is a great exchange. I do recommend them. All right, so let's talk about Ergo here, and really I just want to start off by sort of providing a recap for what we're doing right now. And basically, we're inside of this range with very strong support at $1.68 and very strong resistance around $4. And ever since I started talking about Ergo on the channel, I've really stressed the importance of this $1.68 level. You know, a few months ago, I was talking about this as a potential region where maybe we pivot this downtrend and see a bounce off of. So it's very promising to see once again in the short term, we're having a pretty strong bounce off that level, around 100% from that zone. And it does seem to me that we are starting to reverse, or at least at the very least diminish the bearish momentum. So again, very promising things to see on the chart. One of the things I'm looking out for is again a retest of that range high around $4, and I do expect this to hold strong resistance. So if you're wondering why this is strong resistance, if we go all the way back here to February of 2021, this was the level that we had a pretty big correction off of. We came down about 60% following the test of this area. And this was during a bull market. So when you have such a huge correction during a bull phase, you really got to look at this level as pretty strong resistance. We had a yet another retest here in April of 2021, a few more consolidation candles, and eventually we broke above that. And following the break of this level, we actually had this parabolic rally all the way up to the peak around $19. And then you can see we actually came back down and we retested this and held it as support. All right, so basically this is a very key support resistance level. You can see this had a rejection back here in January of this year, and then a failed breakout above this level, forming a deviation back here in March as well as April. All right, so this is the potential resistance level I'm looking at in terms of the next few weeks if we are to continue this uptrend. I'm also going to be showing you guys this moving average here, which is the green line on the chart. That is the EMA 34. Okay, so it's an exponential moving average. It takes the average of the last 34 bars, weighting the most recent bar a little bit more heavily. And again, this is a very key support and resistance level to watch out for as well. This was the level we bounced off of here in July of 2021. You can see we held that as strong support. We had another bounce right here in October of 2021. This one was a lot more short-lived. We failed to hold it a few weeks later, came back below, and you can see we've actually flipped that into resistance back here in March. All right, so look to this level in confluence with the $4 resistance as our range high, where potentially we could be expecting a rejection, maybe a slowdown of this uptrend, or something similar, where I do think it is going to be very difficult for Ergo to reclaim both of these levels on its first attempt. All right, so these are very strong resistance areas. I do think that we have to give it a little bit more time and consolidation before we can actually reclaim these. Again, thinking out further from here, what I want to see is more of a longer term base in accumulation and sideways trend before I really think that Ergo has the capabilities of reclaiming these resistance levels. And one of the things that you could look for maybe is a potential retest of some of these levels, maybe a higher low formed, a double bottom, but some sort of longer term confirmation where we start to see a basing pattern. And again, this is a promising move, but still, it doesn't look like a basing pattern considering how abrupt and quick the move is, once again being up 100% off the lows in just a few weeks. And really, we have to see a prolonged period of consolidation. That's what we've seen in prior bear markets. That's how trends tend to shift. And in general, that's what I'm looking out for, again, in the next few months. I'm looking for that longer term confirmation, and confirmation is so important because when you have such a big and strong bear market decline, you really have the big risk of any of these being a lower high. And if we're looking at this move, it really does resemble this move that we had back in February and March. It's the same structure really, where we have a bounce off of support. We come right up into the EMA 34 off of a 100% move, and then we have the rejection. All right, so if we're turning around here, look to see if we can form a double bottom, a higher low, or some sort of longer term structure where it would really give you the signs that the bear market trend has ended. Again, you didn't get that sign back here following this retest because what you did was you took out the lows, you flipped it into resistance, and then you continued the downtrend. So again, that's what I'm looking out for on the USD pair for Ergo. Now let's switch over to the Ergo Bitcoin pair, which I've talked about how it does look pretty promising to me. I'm starting to see some things develop here which do look pretty good to me. All right, so let's talk about what we have in place. I have this range I talked about a few videos ago, ranging from 6,900 all the way around to 12,000 Satoshis. So this is a very key support resistance range. You can see we had support on this double bottom, more or less. We had this low back here in May, another low here in February. And what we did was we oscillated back and forth. You can see resistance off the highs. And actually one of the things I can do is I can extend these out just to show you how they have been historically important in terms of the longer term context. All right, so you can see this was a rejection point back here in September of 2020. You saw the resistance at the range high, and basically what you have is a retest of support here in August of 2021. So looking at this from the longer term view, very important to see how this was resistance, macro resistance in September 2020. You flipped it into support back here in July 2021, and following this retest, you actually bounced to new all-time highs. All right, so when I'm looking at this level, I'm seeing that, we've broken out of that level on this very strong uptrend. These two big green candles taking us up around, 50% off this area. So it is a very sharp move. So what I would like to see is some consolidation at this point, maybe forming some sort of support region at the range high, the previous range high. But again, when I'm looking at this on the longer term view, it does seem to have that longer term basing pattern where you do have a rounding off pattern. You do have a higher high, a higher low, and you've broken out of resistance. So to me, the Ergo Bitcoin chart looks probably a lot better than most altcoin Bitcoin charts, considering that it has broken resistance. It has started to form at least a new trend. You can no longer point to the fact that we're in a longer term downtrend because, we essentially went sideways from December of 2021 until August, right? We had the consolidation, the oscillation I talk about back and forth from the range high to the range low for a number of months. So you really can't point to this as a longer term downtrend anymore, considering we already had that consolidation phase and we're starting to form higher highs. So to me, once again, this looks very promising. This is again the Ergo Bitcoin chart. So this moving up would just mean that Ergo is outperforming Bitcoin, which is good because we do like to see how altcoins can outperform Bitcoin. And if they do, it does tend to bring a lot of strength into the USD pair. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. Once again, check out our sponsors and partners over at ftx.us. You can sign up with the link in the description below. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.